Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I would like to talk about the bona fide marriage, okay, and what that means for immigration purposes. I cannot tell you how many times I have people come into the office, and usually it's a single person that comes in, meaning not single as an opposite of married, but single as in instead of two people. And for example, he'll say, I met somebody and I want to marry them. I need a work permit and I want to get the green card. And I immediately go off and tell them, I go, look, first of all, if you're going to be marrying just to get the green card, that's marrying just to get the work permit, that's illegal. And you will need to marry for love, and it will need to be a bona fide marriage. Well, all that some people hear from that is bona fide marriage. And, many times they'll say, well, it's going to be a bona fide marriage. We're going to the Justice of the Peace, and he's going to marry us, and we'll get the certificate. It is a real bona fide marriage. Or they'll say, we're going to Las Vegas, and we're going to go through the drive-through or the line, and it's as legitimate as it can get. It will be bona fide. And so then I have to explain to them that under immigration law, that's not what bona fide means. Okay, you can definitely have a legal marriage that is not bona fide under immigration law. Okay, bona fide means under immigration law that you are marrying for love, that you are not using this marriage as a means to get the green card, and that basically your marriage is real. It is for purposes of the fact you want to spend the rest of your life together. It was not entered into for the purposes of trying to obtain legal status. Okay? That is a major problem. It's a major problem for both the U.S. citizen and it's a major problem for the intending immigrant. For the intending immigrant, if you are convicted of marriage fraud, which that many times is what happens if they determine if you are not marrying for bona fide reasons, then you will be barred, minus some very few exceptions, to immigration benefits for the rest of your life. Okay? Now, the U.S. citizen, that is a federal crime. The U.S. citizen can be prosecuted and put in federal prison. Okay? And again, I use these examples. I can't tell you how many people come in my office and they go, well, I know, 13 other couples that did exactly the same thing that I'm doing, and they, number one, got away with it, and number two, they now have their green card, U.S. citizen, and they're perfectly happy, okay, and they're divorced. And, all I have to do is I have to ask, like, one question. I'll say, well, how long did they know each other before they got married? And, they'll say something like, well, I knew for 2 years or something like that. And there's a lot of other factors, obviously, that go into it. But I end up telling the person who told me that every case is different, that it has to go on the merits, and that I tell them right then and there, if the sole reason that they're coming into my office is to have me put together a good petition to convince immigration it's bona fide when they just told me basically it wasn't, then they're going to have to find another lawyer. Okay? The bona fide marriage issue is a very significant issue, and it's not one that you should take lightly. Okay? Some people think that they can outsmart immigration, that they can make it appear as though everything's legitimate, and that they're smarter than the person on the other side of the desk who's been doing this for years and who has 3,000 cases in front of them that are trying to do the same thing and can spot it a mile away. Honestly, when clients come into my office and they start telling me about the marriage, generally speaking, I can spot it right away if it is a legitimate marriage or not. And by legitimate, again, I mean not legitimate that they're going to the justice of the peace and they're getting married, as opposed to whether it's bona fide for immigration purposes. And so that's the threshold issue. But there then is the issue of, well, how do you prove it? Let's say it is a bona fide marriage. They really do love each other. But let's say that there's some flags. Okay, there's always flags in these cases. Um, you could look at the age difference. Sometimes the male will be much older than the female. Sometimes it's the other way around. Sometimes they live in different states. Sometimes they knew each other only a small amount of time before getting married. Sometimes they live apart still yet. Sometimes they don't run anything through a joint account. Sometimes they have nothing in both of their names. All of these issues can be argued and can be presented in such a manner that you could win if it's a bona fide marriage. Uh, it's one thing being a bona fide marriage. It's another thing proving it. Okay, I I can make a really good case on a bona fide marriage where there doesn't seem to be a lot of really good facts. But obviously, I cannot take a case that is not bona fide and try to make it look bona fide. That would be against the law on my part as well. So I wanted to make this video so that it was clear what the difference is between a legal marriage and a bona fide marriage, and then what you need to show. Now, for a bona fide marriage, there has to be things that you show, how long you were dating, how you fell in love, what you were doing during that time, how you communicated with each other, how you fell in love, when you fell in love. There's all different kinds of factors, and I usually attach a good declaration showing the progress of events, and then you can also show if you're living together, if there's anything in both of your names, joint accounts. If there's not, why not? If there's the age difference, there's ways of explaining it. I once had a marriage petition approved, and I kid you not, there was a 62-year difference between the wife and the husband. Got it approved, showed it was bona fide. So it certainly is doable. Many times the reason there's not joint accounts is because the foreign national has no ability to get it. Sometimes it's because one of the spouses has bad credit and the other one doesn't want to get attached onto it. There's different reasons. So hopefully this particular video, what needs to be done in order to show a bona fide marriage. If you like the video, click like, subscribe, and you can certainly call my office. The initial consultation is free, and then we go from there. Okay, more in the coming videos.